I know, I was in the cast. I can't remember exactly my first impression of him, other than I thought it was really cool that I got to share a neat hobby with somebody that was really interesting. I'd known him for quite a while, but I never got to know him properly. But in the hours that we spent together in that dance studio, I learned very quickly that Aaron is the best sort of person that you want to have as a friend. He's wicked smart, he's fiercely loyal, and he pushes everyone around him to be the best they can be. We may have started out fighting each other in Mortal Kombat, but today I'm honored to call you my best friend. I'll skip over all the mushy stories about how these two got together. Other people are better at that than me anyways, and I have it on good authority you're about to hear some of that soon. So I'll talk about something else. It was almost 3 years ago now that I texted Aaron one day and I said, hey, I want to play Dungeons & Dragons. I took all of 30 seconds? We hadn't talked about it before. I don't think either of us really knew what it was, but from what I knew, it sounded fun. And Aaron agreed. So we assembled our team, and we met at the Driftwood Tavern, which you may seem familiar with. I won't bore you with any of the details, but the game has taught me a few things over the last few years, especially about teamwork. Now, when you're building a team, you need to pick people that complement one another. You certainly got that going for you. You're some of the sappiest people I know. And for good reason, too, I think. I think you two are fantastic. Seriously, though, you bring out the best in one another. You each found somebody that chose a class that well suits your own. You love each other fiercely. And I am so glad you have found such an amazing partner in each other. Over the last 6 years, I've seen you handle all manner of challenges together, and I'm excited to see you continue to gain XP and gain levels as you move into a new adventure. Aaron and Courtney, today you promised that you would be teammates for the rest of your lives. I know that every single person in this room is standing with you, and we all look forward to seeing you flourish together. Aaron and Courtney, I love you both. You two are my best friends, and I'm honored to get to share today with you. So ladies and gentlemen, let us raise our glasses to the bride and groom, Mr. and Mrs. Aaron and Courtney Clements.
I feel like it's my duty to point out, as their dungeon master, that they have not learned a single thing about teamwork. and in any game that they have played of Dungeons & Dragons at this point, because I will spend many a time waiting 30 minutes for them to make a decision and stop arguing with each other. So there was a bit of a fallacy in his argument there. It wasn't great. The first time, speaking of the first time we met Aaron, you met him in breakdancing. I met him, I'd heard of him before. But I met him in theater as well, and it's because he approached me after the first dress rehearsal, the first show I was ever in at Yale. And he walked up to me, and he looked at me, and he went, "What are you doing?" And I looked him dead in the eyes. I didn't know who this man was. I'd never met him before in my life. And I said, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "You're wearing white socks with a suit." And to this day, I've never forgotten that. I've never worn white socks with a suit ever. Thank you for the fashion advice, Aaron. So I look as good as I do tonight. The next speaker to come up is the maid of honor. Her name is Natasha. She's one of 3 Heberts on the head table tonight. Natasha Hebert. She's going to probably say some really excellent words. She's very eloquent, so I'm very excited for her speech. I'm hyping it up more than I should. I'd like to welcome Natasha Hebert to the stage to give a speech.
Thanks. Okay, so this just proves to me right now that I should have gone first, because everybody's sitting here hyping up what I'm going to say about, all the mushy stuff about how they got together, and I was actually planning part 2 to the opera my husband planned, so that's out the window. But seriously, though, for those of you who don't know me, I am Natasha, and I'm the very fortunate person who gets to be this wonderful, amazing woman's best friend and maid of honor. And like any true best friend, I'm going to start this speech off by saying a little, I told you so. So the first person to know Courtney and Aaron would end up together was me. And the day of their first date, as we were out for coffee, and she kept saying it was not a date, it was not a date, it was not a date. And I stood strong. I told her. I stood there helping her pick out what to wear, even though it wasn't a date. And the first thing she texted me when she got home that night, so it was a date. So you heard it here first, everybody. And I knew these two were destined to be, not necessarily when I first met Aaron, as my earliest memory of him is him making some monstrous experiment in science that involved lots of gas and fire. But as soon as these two set their sights on each other, I knew that nothing could stop them from being together. And while I fully expected all of the mushy-gushy stuff from Courtney, I was thrilled to see that he was just as ridiculously head over heels for her as she was for him. He would do anything and everything for her, and there's really no person I would trust her with more than you, Aaron, as long as that science experiment doesn't make another appearance. This, however, was several years after I met both of them. A funny thing about Courtney and I is that while the official story of how we met is in high school, there's actually another story. When we were 13, I think, 12 or 13, we actually both went to the same horse camp together and didn't realize it until years later when we were already best friends. I could have never imagined that when we sat there in the barn talking one day that I would be standing up here at her wedding and that I would be able to call her my best friend. It actually took me a long time to call her my best friend, not because I didn't consider her such, but because I knew that there was no way that this incredibly awesome person could possibly think the same of me. And I honestly remember thinking that I couldn't possibly have somebody like Courtney consider me her best friend. It was too good to be true. Here was this awesome, funny, talented, caring person, and the fact that she even hung out with me was sometimes a bit of a surprise to me. And in grade 10, when we played best friends, Elphaba and Glinda in Wicked, all I can think of was how crazy it would be if I was her best friend in real life. And I remember exactly where I was standing the first time she called me her best friend. And I was, honest to goodness, floored. And I still am. Courtney, you and I have been through thick and thin together. We've had some crazy adventures and misadventures, some ridiculous arguments and some really crazy schemes, and made memories that will be with me for the rest of my life. I'm so fortunate to have you as my best friend. And just like Elphaba and Glinda, I can say without a doubt that because I knew you, I have been changed for good. So here's to two of my best friends in the whole world, Courtney and Aaron.
On the opposite end of David's speech, there was a lot of truth to that speech. It was, I know that David, Aaron, and myself have lost many a wife, in your case, fiance in my case, to girls' nights between those people because they love each other so much. Courtney and I were first introduced to each other in a musical we were in middle school called Seussical. It was basically a play about Dr. Seuss, and Courtney, to this day, 13 years later, still brings photos up to me, which I never want to see again quite often. I was Cat in the Hat. I'm not important. I'm not the one getting married today. I want to welcome up to give a speech two people who have opened their doors to us constantly for D&D sessions. I think I mentioned that one earlier. First, their upstairs was occupied by us for probably over a year, and their dining room table was unusable every Thursday night for over a year. And then their pool table downstairs was turned into a D&D table somehow with a piece of plywood. Could I get Dale and Donna to the stage to give a speech for Aaron and Courtney? Max, I'm gonna time you guys out.
Okay.
Aaron and Courtney, even though we've had 14 months to get ready for this, because that's how long it's been since you asked her, Aaron, tonight is unreal, surreal. I remember you as a baby, and it doesn't seem like 24 years have passed since you were that crying baby, or since you were that cute little boy going to preschool in your overalls that I know now that you hated. We are so proud of the man that you've grown into. I don't know what to say except that you set goals and you've achieved them, and you continue to move forward and do things that amaze and surprise us. The two of you organized this beautiful wedding, and you're just such a lovely couple, and we know that that you're going to do wonderful things together. Courtney, we're so happy to have you as part of our family, and anytime you guys want to come over and use the pool table for D&D, it's all right with me. Our house is always open to you. So, yeah, I didn't write anything down, so unlike you, Aaron, I am not a planner. So I just want to say we love you very much, and Courtney, take good care of him because he's very precious to us.
Aw. Yes, it's really interesting. A lot of us are, well, some of us are parents here. So I remember very distinctly how Aaron came into the world just a little bit too early. Well, for this guy, made me quite nervous. I ended up praying an awful lot. And I remember this little thing lying in a crib all bundled up, because that's how she did it, and I still don't know why. And, you know, you're praying to the good Lord, you know, make him healthy, make him smart, make him a good person, you know. And then I can still remember thinking out of the blue, oh yeah, and one day he's going to need a good woman. So I don't know what she's going to look like or who she's going to be, but make her loved. Give her two parents that love her and are really just a strong part of their life. And that prayer continues as they get older and older. And little did I know that all these times, I was not only praying for you, Courtney, but for Randy and Simone, and Liz and Malcolm and Louise and Nettie and all these people. Because of all of us in this whole room, I don't think anybody throughout their whole life has been loved more than Courtney by so many people. You know? Shemana, my goodness. You started teaching her to bake when she was 3 years old. And Courtney, we're all very fond of everything that you bake. Thank you, Shemana. So it's interesting that all these years later, this whole group who says that they were friends because of Dungeons and Dragons and because of our dining room table, I don't know, it's been a real pleasure to have all of you in our home and be part of, well, I don't know. We all want to know what our kids are doing, so you can't really be in on the Dungeons and Dragon, but you can still hear through the closed door, right? So, you know. But it's been good. It's been really good. I remember coming out of the house one morning, and it's like there's all this red and white confetti stuff all over our front door and whatnot, and it's like, what the Sam Hill is going on here? Well, it turns out that was Aaron's 16th birthday, and Courtney had a bit of a thing with, she calls it confetti bombing people. And I thought, he doesn't, that's, who, what? And I thought, well, who knows? You know, you're always wondering who that someone might be. They weren't thinking that way, but I'm thinking confetti bombing. That takes a little bit of planning. Then I found out that Simone had a big hand in that as well. And then I thought, a mother and daughter team. Maybe I should, I don't know, invest in some home security or something. But no, it was all good. And my first remembrance of Aaron talking about Courtney was from some school play or something, and he came home and he was so impressed with this girl's voice. She had a range, she had a, and I thought, what? He's interested in a girl? Who is this person? What? And they weren't interested in each other. He was just really impressed. And later on, well, I think he's still impressed. So it's been wonderful getting to know all you people from England, Randy and Simone and all your friends. And I don't know, I'm sorry about your boat that got busted up at White Rock. But to all of you, thank you for, I don't know, maybe you're a part of our family, maybe we're a part of yours. But it's been wonderful getting to know all of you, and I hope we continue to do this for a long time. And all you guys especially. Or what? We'll get married again this time. No. No, I'm glad you gave us 14 months notice, because it's taken me about that long to get used to the idea. So, anyways, to you guys, a happily ever after, I hope.
I'm glad to know we weren't a burden on your household while we were over so often. And I'm really glad we aren't a burden because Courtney, as I mentioned earlier, Courtney and Aaron really love to host. At least I hope they really love to host. Good, okay, good to know. Because we were also at this house just as often growing up. Randy and Simone also opened their doors to us to many basement escapades and hanging out and all that sort of stuff. So thanks you to you. Really parents to all of us up here, because I remember only a year ago when we were in Vancouver, and you came all the way out to Vancouver and picked both myself, Courtney, and Isaac up all the way in Vancouver, so Isaac doesn't want to be involved. So you guys have really been parents to all of us, just going out of your way to really be amazing. So I'd like for you guys to come up and give your speech for Courtney and Aaron. Everyone give them a round of applause.
Let's just I was a little exuberant pulling it off of the pieces of paper today, so we had to tape it back together. I am a just-in-time kind of gal, and it's always the last thing we're going out the door. So that was me. So I'm going to let Randy start. Here you go.
So good evening, and thank you to everyone for being here. We really are. I bet I can project and not need it. So we're thrilled to be here this evening in such a beautiful location, sharing and celebrating the marriage of Courtney and Aaron. Courtney has always made it really easy to be proud of her. She's always set expectations of herself that we know to have led her to be the person that she is today. She's described as kind, caring, bright, hardworking. We know that's all true. It's true. And over the last several years, we've been delighted to see Courtney with Aaron. So when we look at Aaron, we see a young man who has the same characteristics. He's kind, he's caring, he's bright, he's hardworking. And it's been a real It's been a real pleasure to watch our young couple grow as friends and companions. To watch their very evident love for one another, their caring for each other, the way that they both light up when the other enters the room. It's been a joy.
We are delighted to see Courtney and Aaron setting off on life's journey together. We want you to know that you both will always be able to rely on family and friends, no matter what, to lean on us, to talk to us. We will always be there to support you through the good times and the bad. As we look around the room, we see all these wonderful faces from people who've come from far and wide, and which we truly appreciate, and from those that have come from close by too, that have always been here to support our family. We'd also like to recognize those who can't be here with us, because there's so many of them that have either passed on or couldn't be here tonight. And they have made us and them who they are too. Everybody in this room has had a hand in getting this moment to happen. So we truly, truly appreciate you being here. Sorry, I'm starting to cry, so I'm having a hard time reading. We know of many friendships and family that bind and stretch over all these miles. Some that have been for 60 years, through family friends of grandparents and through other relationships that have happened and grown over the years. And through all this time, this will continue to grow. You have started here what other people have started and continued. The friends that you have sitting at this table with you have been a pleasure to watch you grow up. As Zach notices, I won't tell him that I keep sending some of those videos of him as a cat in the hat. Shh. Because I think he was darn cute. He'll get there eventually and realize it too, but that's okay. It has been a pleasure to have them in our home. They have made it very easy to love them all, and we are so grateful that they have stood up for Courtney and Aaron today.
We're already proud to have Aaron as a son-in-law. And we want to congratulate Don and Dale on raising such a fine young man. We welcome all to our extended family. We know that we've always had the love and support of our parents, and families, and friends, and we want to thank everyone for all of your influence over the years. We hope it's obvious how proud we are of Courtney and Aaron. And we're grateful to everyone who's been a part of our, who's been a part of their lives. Courtney and Aaron, we wish you the very best. We'll love and support you always.
to Courtney and Aaron.
Cheers, guys.
That was such a beautiful speech, and every word spoken was so true. And Simone, we're going to talk later about this whole cat in the hat situation, so we'll have a discussion. Hey. Next up, we're going to have a very special speech, but before that, I just wanted to raise a glass. I made a horrible decision and finished all my drink before this, but to Courtney and Aaron, not to a new beginning, but to the continuation of what I've seen you two hold so dear to yourselves for 6 years now. Just the fact that you two are such an amazing couple together and love each other so much. I just want to congratulate them. The very special speech upcoming is going to be Courtney and Aaron themselves giving a speech up here. So I'd like to welcome them both up. Courtney, it might take a second in her dress. But everyone give them a round of applause while they come up.
There's probably a rule with speeches that says if you can't prep something in time, just liquor yourself up enough that the words come easy. I did neither. It's been a busy evening. That beer on the table right there is still my first. So, but don't worry, it's been an incredible day. Really the best day of my life so far because of this amazing woman right here and because of all of you. Everyone in this room is here because you've touched our lives in some way. And I couldn't think of a better group of people to celebrate the next step in my life with. So thank you to everyone in this room. Thank you to Randy. Thank you, Simone. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Grandpa, both of them. Betty and Fran, and Liz and Malcolm and Nettie, you guys have been such an incredible family to us over just my entire life in these past 6 years. Thank you to the people who made today possible in terms of hanging these lights. Brandon, thank you for going up and down that ladder so many times. To everyone here in the bridal party who was here last night helping us put this together, thank you so much, and thank you for being our friends. Your love and support have given us the wings to attain these heights.
Well, he said most of it, but I can't say thank you enough to have all of you here. We can't thank you enough. This is what we've been building up to for the past 14 months. 6 years has led to the wedding, but 14 months has led to this, to having everybody we love in one room. And to say thank you for everything that you have done and that we are looking forward to doing back and giving back as much as we can. So, and I'm seeing you tear up, so don't. So thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Dale. Thank you to all our grandparents and extended family of every kind. Every person in this room is family. And we really, really appreciate you being here. Thank you, Zach, for being the MC that we kind of threw you in on. Yeah. Thank you, Matt, for helping us with all the DJ work, which was soon to come, so you have things to be excited for. David and Natasha and Melanie and Michelle. Thank you to Emily, our wonderful stage manager for the wedding.
You're the best.
And thank you to everybody that helped in every way that you did, with it, whether that was hanging lights or setting up tables or being wonderful flower girls. So thank you guys. Thank you so much. And I'll stop talking now.
So I know Aaron and Courtney are having an unplugged wedding, but my entire itinerary is on my phone, so I'm going to open that quickly here. So I'd like to thank everyone for coming. That's the first thing on my list here. I'd like to thank everyone for coming, and I want to welcome up a gentleman who's had a big effect on many people's lives, many people at this table's lives, and that's Willis Taylor. He wasn't, yeah, give him a round of applause. Give him a round of applause. Willis wasn't just a drama teacher. He was a father figure at the secondary school we all went to. Willis, being an amazing man, is going to give the first dance tonight for everybody. You can also give a speech if you want. Do you want to give a speech?
I'm going to sing from over there.
Oh, that's understandable. You can go over there if you want.
I will say this. I will say this before I go over there, and that is that you guys got to know what you mean to me as well, and especially Aaron and Courtney today. Courtney, I will make this admission only to you that the first time you you house managed for me, I had actually forgotten to get a house manager. You see, that's how well she knows me. And Aaron, every time he was there to put the fear of God into the ninth graders. And at the if he couldn't show up for any of the shows, he was always there for the strike to take everything apart. And man, pretty much everybody right here, I couldn't have done my job without you guys. It was, you're really special to me. You know that. And, I wish you every happiness. And there's a line in the song that says, I'll never feel as good as this again. Well, don't worry about it. You'll feel better. You're going to feel better. It gets better. Me and my wife are celebrating our 35th this year. And someone in here was celebrating their 53rd. So, it's great. So, all the best to you. And here's the song as soon as I get set up.
I think while Willis sets up, I think each of us can give him a hand for another reason. It's actually Willis's birthday today. So I just want to wish him a happy birthday. From every one of us here.